So in the book, Java for Testers, we use JUnit. I was asked a question recently. You use JUnit in the book. I thought that was just for unit testing, just used by developers. Should I learn this if I'm going to be using system testing? And the answer is, well, yes, because the problem here is people think that JUnit is a testing tool. What we should be looking at JUnit as a tool for executing code that is marked as runnable by JUnit. That is code that has an @test annotation. Sometimes we call that code a test. Sometimes we annotate some methods because tactically we want to execute that code. That means when I'm doing system testing, I can knock up a quick set of code that's going to go off to a browser and do some work. I can put it in an @test method, and then I can execute that code from the IDE. I don't have to write a main method. Now what I've noticed is that when people are learning Java, they're often taught how to do a main method, and that's the only way they know of making their code executable, being able to run their code. Problem is, we then find in their code they have lots of main methods because they didn't really understand what it was for. You can use JUnit to annotate methods and then just run arbitrary code. You can use any library. I use JUnit to help me execute code that uses WebDriver, which interacts with a browser. So it's going off to an application that's been deployed and we execute it. That allows me to create tactical tests, which are short, ad hoc bits of code that I'm just going to use and throw away. It allows me to create strategic tests, put into suites that we're going to run long term. It allows me to unit test the code that I write in my abstraction layers and in all my support code. And when I use JUnit, I can easily add my code into continuous integration because it's a tool that allows me to run any code that is annotated with @test. It is not just for unit testing. And if you work through the Java for Testers book, you will see that because that is the main approach that we take for learning Java.